Hello, my name is Alberto Ruiz, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you a real use case of how to find names on your family tree. This is something that I've done for a while, and I decided to show this because this is one of my ancestors that I wasn't haven't been able, or any of other relatives who also have looked on this line, have been able to find any more information. But in the process of just doing some simple searches, I was able to find additional information for one of my lines. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and show you what I did and what I found out. All right, so if you can see my fan chart and see a few of my ancestors, um, and it's kind of interesting because a lot of times you start working on family history and you don't know where to start. But in this case, my mom gave me a call and said that there was an aunt who was interested in helping her out with her family history. And in the process of helping her out, I found out that she also lived with my great grandma's sister, which in this case, my great grandma is Soledad, which was right here in the center. And by having this information, then it led for me to noticing that her father, Adelaido Mendez, was there, but he didn't have a mother. And if I remember right, I've looked at, tried to find more information about his mother, and I haven't been able to find anything for years. So I decided to give it one more try and see what else I can find. So the process that I went through was to um, get up the basic information that I have. They're all from Mexico. So I know that I have an approximate date, which is 1860, when my great grandfather Adelaido Mendez was born. But then I don't have any other information about his father, Antonio Mendez. So I decided to go ahead and do a few searches. And if just to clarify, if anybody is not familiar with the searches, when you do search for records in FamilySearch, it's going to find information that has already been indexed. Somebody has gone through it and they have looked at several films, record by record, and they have extracted that information. And now there is an index that you can do a search and be able to find those individuals instead of looking at one image after another, which will be very time consuming. So in any case, so first step, I go into search. So I'm just going to go right there, and this is what it looks like. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and type the name of my grandfather. Adelaido Reyes. And if you remember right, I mentioned that he was born around 1860. So we'll just maybe, since it's an approximation date, we'll just give you a few years before and after that date. And to give us a lot of kids, we'll go ahead and say all Mexico. We know the father's name. It is Antonio. Now, I've done this before and I haven't found any information. So we'll go ahead and try it again and see what happens. Hit search. And why do we find we find several individuals whose fathers is Antonio Mendez. I mean, over almost 3,000 matches. So it will be kind of hard to determine which one is the right record for Adelaido Mendez. But I do see the second record here. It shows Jose Adelaido. It's a little bit spelled differently. Lázaro Mendez. And it does say that his father was Antonio. And then there is a mother. Her name is Vicenta Delgado. So now the place is in the area. A lot of the ancestors were from Tlaxcala, Mexico. So, and then if I had a date that says that he was born around 1860, this is 1868. So it could be very likely a match. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a note of that. Jose Adelaido Lázaro Mendez. Now, there could be other Adelaidos as well here in the same area with the same father's name. And it's not my same Adelaido that I'm looking for. So let's go ahead and do additional searches to be able to see if we can find additional information. So let's assume that maybe this is the record. So we'll go ahead and also enter and update the search and enter the information of Vicenta Delgado, assuming that's the right mother. Let's see what we get. So we have the same record that we had before, but then we have still a lot of records that it's hard to determine which one it might be. So another thing that I like to do, I like to go ahead and remove the first name in case there are, when the record was indexed, it might be indexed completely different. So it might not even close to what I have on my tree. And the other thing that I like to do, I also like to also expand maybe the birth year a little bit farther. So let's go ahead and do, let's say 1840 to, let's say 1890, run the search and see if we get more specific records. Okay, I made a mistake right there. It has to be the 1800s, 1840 to 1890. Click update. And we still have that same record, but then we do have other records of other individuals. This could be possibly also siblings of Adelaido, which very likely they are because they are in the same general place, Tlaxcala, and the mother and the father are the same for every single record here. But now, as I'm going through all of these records here, there is one here that is a little bit different. And that one says Abelardo, which is spelled very different than Adelaido. And it says that his spouse is Carlota. So that's another clue right there. I will have to go check and see if Adelaido was married to Carlota. And yes, it was. There is a Maria Carlota Lopez Palafox. But in the searches for that record says Abelardo Mendez married to Carlota Lojero. So just to make sure that maybe this is the right record, I'm going to go ahead and look at the actual record. And here we have the actual record for Abelardo. And it says age 58, born possibly around 1875, which is a lot different than the 1860 60 that I had before. Married to Antonio and Mendez and Vicenta Delgado, and the wife is Carlota Lorejo. So, and the record number is 616. So right here says 6118, 6117. So it's this record right here. So we'll go ahead and zoom in and see what it says. Adelaido Mendez from Huamancla, of 26 years old. And it says the name of, well, this is a civil record. So it talks about a person who was writing this record. And it says that he said, it says here that he is married with Carlota Lopez. So Lojero is not even close. It does says Lopez is obvious, Lopez, Lopez. So this confirms that is very likely the same individual. And also know that it also shows Antonio Mendez as one of the parents. And also says Vicenta Delgado. Again, that's the mother that we don't have. So this very likely give us the information that we're looking for. So now we know for a fact that it's the same record. And now we have confirmed that Adelaido Mendez is the same Adelaido Mendez. His wife is Carlota Lopez. And also his father is Antonio Mendez. And now we have confirmed that her mother's name, his mother's name is Vicenta Delgado. So now that we know that, I'm going to go ahead and I already did this before, but you can go ahead and add this record to your source box so you can find it later if you need to. And I'm going to go ahead and go back to the searches. And now I can confirm that Vicenta Delgado, I don't have her in my tree and I can add her. And also all these siblings. So this is very well likely his record that we were able to find before of Adelaido, and also a sister and a brother and another sister and another brother. And here is looks more like a marriage record. So now we have a lot more information that we can go ahead and add into our tree. And there is even another one right here, and another one, and another one. Some of our church civil records and some of our church records that I can attach, and also add these individuals. Another thing that is important to mention, this doesn't look like my ancestor, but if it has a little tree here, that means that somebody's already attached this specific record to FamilySearch tree. If I would have this here, that means that somebody else or maybe already have that record. But in this case, there is not an icon of a tree. So that means that these records have been indexed, but they're not attached. And now I can go ahead and attach them and also create new records on my tree for each of these individuals. So I hope you enjoy this and this be able to help you out. And now you can have find a way to better find names and how to do better searches to help you solve some of those mysteries in your family tree. Well, thank you and see you next time.